Raid, we are here with the Eternal Dragon on Doom Tower 120 hard, and we're getting it done with Drexlar Blood Twin, Apothecary, Jerrig on the far right. We've got Vrask, which you can't see right now, and Doom Priest. I'll show you the gear and how we're getting this done so you can beat 120 hard as well. Or if you're having difficulty on any other Eternal Dragon, you'll know exactly what to do and to build your comp depending on the speeds for that and the accuracy and the resistance you need. Let's talk about what this dragon does first. Let's see exactly what you're facing when you come in here and why you might die to this dragon. We are circumventing the way you're supposed to fight this dragon, I guess. I think you're supposed to put back its skills and then kill the priest that's out so it can't reset its skills and then attack you. We are not going to worry about that at all. We do need a decrease attack up at all times. You got to have that decrease attack up. There are certain situations where you can get hit and not have that decrease attack up depending on how strong your gear is, and you'll be okay. But the main thing to look out for is the Soul Burst. Attacks all enemies, and he'll do this immediately when you come in. Puts all your skills on max cooldown. That's a good thing. We want our skills on max cooldown. Now, some things you might not want. There might be one champion that you bring with you that you don't want their skill on max cooldown so you can do their abilities. Now, there's going to be a few of those that you have in your group because you really don't want that to happen too often, and you're going to have to have really high resistance, which I'll show you that. I have it on my Apothecary. But he gets a turn meter increase for every skill not on cooldown. Right there. So we don't want him to do a 1-2 punch, and he will do this. He'll do this quite often. He doesn't put your skills on cooldown and then get this turn meter increase. I think he gets it before because there will be times throughout the fight, every time you fight him, that he's going to do Soul Burst and then hit you with an AoE, either his A1 or the Spirit Rush if it's off cooldown. And the Spirit Rush inflicts 20% additional damage per skill not on cooldown. That's why it's really good to have people like Vrask who only have one other ability, and then hopefully that will be on cooldown or used up, and then there's nothing really to be on cooldown. There's no other skills out there. Because if you have skills on really long cooldown and they don't get put on cooldown or you're not using them right away and he does this ability, there's 20% additional per round that it's not on cooldown is a lot. It's a lot of damage, so be careful with that one. Now, as far as the priests go and the other guys, it doesn't matter. We're going to zone in, focus the boss, leave it on full auto. At least that's the good thing about it. We can do it on full auto. We're not worried about anything except every once in a while he'll get this Eternal Rage buff. You see it? Now, the Eternal Rage buff increases his speed, lets him go through unkillable, block damage, and shields, which we're not concerned about, but ignores 50% additional defense. That is a lot. So if he hits you with the 1-2 punch right here from this, gets a turn meter increase, and then hit you with another ability, ignoring 50% defense is pretty huge. But we're loading up all our people on max HP because we're getting heals based off of HP. Everything that we're doing heals with is pretty much based off of your max HP. So even on somebody like Drexlar Blood Twin, we're going full on max HP. We're not worried about anything else. And then we just go in there, we get that decrease attack, full auto, and we beat this guy. So we're not trying to go in and use Sinesha or somebody like Warlord to push back its abilities, to put them on max cooldown. We're not trying to do that with this guy. We're not trying to go in and kill the priest so that he can't sacrifice the priest, reset his abilities, and attack you. We're just going in, we're putting it on auto, we're getting burns up, and we're killing the dragon within 5 minutes and something seconds. Almost 6 minutes, I think. That's pretty damn good for a rare with epic and Drexlar Blood Twin. So we don't even care what these guys do down here. So here we are at Doom Tower right above my head, 120. Now this spreadsheet is in every single one of my videos. Just look down below in the comments. It's pinned up at the top. You can click on it and look at whatever. So if you're not facing Doom Tower 120 hard for your Eternal Dragon, go look at which one you are. Look at its speed. Pay attention to the speed from what this video is showing you, and the resistance and the accuracy. So on the accuracy for 120, now we want him to put our skills on cooldown. So he has 350 accuracy, but the Eternal Guards do AoE decrease defense at times and try to provoke you. But their accuracy is only 230. So if we're going to go in there with people, we want our resistance around 300 or 250 or 270, whatever you can do. Somewhere around 230. So every once in a while, you can try to resist that decreased defense. We do have a Doom Priest to try to clear off, but when you get caught sometimes with the dragon in those hard hits, if you have a decreased defense, you're going to die, especially if you don't have a decreased attack up on him. You're going to have some issues. But you do want resistance above the accuracy of this Eternal Guard, but you don't want it so high that you won't get your skills put on cooldown from the actual dragon, which is at 350. But there's a huge gap there. So you just get enough resistance of around 250, 300 if you want to, and you're still going to get everything put on cooldown. by that 350 from the Eternal Dragon. Now with my Apothecary, he is rocking like 420 resistance because I don't want his skills on cooldown. I want him to increase our speed, turn meter increase, and give me heals. So he's the only one in my team that is well over this dragon so that he doesn't get his skills put on cooldown. And the speed here on the dragon is 250. So I want most of my people at 250. We want to keep up with the dragon. My Apothecary is going to help out with that. You'll see the speeds on all my people. And we want, especially on somebody who's doing your decrease attack, to have enough speed to keep up with this dragon, to make sure they're always applying decrease attack for 2 turns and hopefully 3 turns sometimes. Because if he gets those 2 turns in a row, you got to have it up. I'm telling you, or you're going to die. So that's how it works. You see that? You see that with the accuracy 350 for the dragon. So if you're running on a lower level dragon, look at its speed to be mindful that you're right at its speed, and then look at its accuracy and the Eternal Guard's accuracy, so you know what to do. So you can make sure you can try to resist the Eternal Guard's decreased defense and provoke, and that you can also then not resist the 350 pushback so he sets all your skills on cooldown. I hope that makes sense. Let me know down below if you have any questions on that, if it doesn't make sense to you. Okay, let's get back over to this fight and see what we're looking at. We zoned in my champions that are over 250 speed, took their turns. We got a decreased attack up. We've got some burns up from being hit with our Drexstar Blood Twin. And then immediately the dragon dropped down his champions and hit us with an AoE. Let's go into it and see what we've got. Now pay attention to Apothecary. Apothecary does not have Stalwart set on. We have a Stalwart set on, which is very important in this game. We don't need it on our Drexstar Blood Twin because he's got a lifesteal set on with Giant Slayer procs. So he's going to heal back his life. But we've got and he's got really good stats. We've got a Stalwart set on Vrask, Doom Priest, and Jarrig. But we don't have one on Apothecary. And look at the difference in damage. It's going to be pretty big. Not yet. He's going to ramp up, and you're going to see that Apothecary is always taking a lot more damage. So it's really important if you're struggling on this boss to get your Stalwart set on all these people. Otherwise, if I were to try to run this without Stalwart sets, I would die. It's the way I finished it on that video that you saw before where I was running with Drexstar and 4 epics. We did like 4 different epics. We had Sepulchre Sentinel, we had this group, and we had somebody else in there as well that had a really good passive for healing that we brought along. And before, I didn't have Vrask in a Stalwart set in those videos. And he would die quite often. Now that he's in a Stalwart set with a 100% chance to crit rate, he's good to go. There we are. And most of these, like Apothecary's at 260 speed, I think. My Jarrig is definitely at 250 something speed with a lot of accuracy, not really much resistance. We're not worried about him picking up any of those decreased defense. We just want to make sure that he gets that decreased attack up. That's the most important. But you're going to see a lot of decreased defense pop up. There you are. There's 2 right there. We can't resist them all. We try to. We can't. I mean, the gear requirement is a lot. These champions aren't that big of a deal, but the gear requirement is insane. And yes, they already said in the Discord, on Raid Shadow Legends Discord, official Discord, that the next time this comes up, that they're going to make some changes to it. Now, I don't know if that means easier. Everyone's assuming, and the way they word it, it means easier. Right now, he's got the Eternal buff up. Did you see that? We had a decreased attack up the whole entire time. We have yet to be hit from this boss without a decreased attack up. And we won't lose anybody the way we have it built. But we're going to miss that decreased attack soon. And I ran this 3 times. This is my 3rd time running this to make sure, because we failed 2 other times because we didn't get that decreased attack up. And we will. Watch. We're about to get to the end right here. The team is fine. He's got that buff up. We can take it. But now, no decreased attack. Apothecary, still not bad. I mean, everybody's still pretty good. And boom. Look at that. Blew him up. Stalwart is everything to this boss. And luckily, Drexstar Blood Twin is so tanky that he can take it. So Jarrig saved us with his passive regen. Whenever we take 20% of our max HP and damage, we get those regens. They were up all the time. Sometimes they were up back to back when we got hit twice. So he did enough healing to keep us all alive and decrease attack. We want all his skills on cooldown. We cannot do the ally protect or he'll die. He'll take too much damage. Doom Priest, she has pretty good resistance, so hopefully she wasn't even getting a decreased defense up because that's all she needs is resistance. We don't need accuracy or anything else with Doom Priest. Her in a Stalwart set, of course, just like Jarrig, and she was able to do 1 million healing. That's pretty damn good. Vrask in a Stalwart set might be really hard for you to do with decent speed, but we got him there as well. He's not at 250 speed, but he does get a turn meter increase on his A1 whenever he hits. A 20% turn meter increase, which keeps his speed up, but we have Apothecary over here also boosting us and getting some heals. So it seemed to work out pretty well. We'll start off with Drexstar Blood Twin. This is the way I'm going to keep him built forever now. He's over 250 speed. He's got really high HP. And he's got good accuracy and good resistance. If I need more accuracy, I run him as lead. If I need more resistance, I go in there and change his banner. Right now, he's got a banner of HP. He's not running either banner yet. So if I needed more accuracy, I could throw that on. If I needed more resistance, I could throw that on as well. When I fight the Griffin, he is set. When I fight the Dragon or the Nether Spider or anything else, this guy is good to go. He's got everything he needs. He's healing back from the Giant Slayer procs, right? He's doing damage. He's actually doing a massive amount of damage with those Giant Slayer procs, and he's healing his life back on his own. Then we're getting burns here. We're trying to get a higher chance to apply the burn, and we're extending the burn for longer turns. That's it for him. I mean, he's good to go. HP chest, HP gloves. Come on, game. Catch up. Catch up. HP here and HP here. Everything with as much accuracy and resistance as you can get on it. All that kind of stuff. We don't need to load up in crazy high resistance, though, for the Dragon, just like we talked about, because we want all the skills on cooldown. Once we get to the Dragon, this will get put on cooldown, and that way we won't get hit so hard from that other ability, and we don't need this move right here. We don't need this on the boss. All we need him to do is apply this burn here whenever he's hit from everybody else out there, and then apply this on the boss, because we selected the boss. Keep in mind, we did that run in under 6 minutes with this team. That's better than a lot of people do with legendaries out there. It's good. It's really good. So there's Masteries. Let's go over to the other ones. What do we have? Doom Priest. So Doom Priest has the Stalwart set. HP Speed Boots, just like Drexstar Blood Twin. HP Speed Boots. HP here. HP Resistance. And then HP here. Now this could be a resistance banner if you need it to be. If you need to get it over that resistance to wherever the guards are trying to put that decreased defense on you, then you can get a resistance banner if you want to. Other than that, we do have War Master. You don't have to go War Master. We were getting a little extra damage from that to the boss that we don't really need. So if you wanted to go additional resistance here, you could do that as well. You don't have to worry about that assault tree at all. Don't worry about it. She really doesn't need anything, right? All she needs is a whole bunch of HP, some speed, and you're good to go. Her speed is 244. She's actually below the Dragon. But we've got Apothecary in there, and then Jarek here, he is, like I said, above the Dragon, because we want to make sure that this guy is always staying with the Dragon and applying that decreased attack. If that decreased attack fails to land, we will die. Just like you saw, we'll die. If that happened in the beginning of the run, like it did in the first 2 runs, or in the middle kind of section, we'd have to start all over, but the runs are pretty fast, so it wasn't too bad to have to start all over, and we're still perfecting it, right? We're still trying to perfect this group. HP speed, HP, and I think we have an accuracy banner on this one. We do, because we need accuracy on this guy. Even though we're running the accuracy lead with Drexstar, we need a decent amount of accuracy. And we're not worried about resistance as much, but we've got a fair amount of resistance as well. And these are what I have on him. Resistance here. Sniper is very important to make sure we apply that decreased attack. And then we definitely want Master Hexer to try to extend it to a 3-turn. And then, of course, with all these masteries, if you haven't noticed, I always come in here. If we get crit, we get 8% less damage. If you wanted to go over here, because we're taking all that AoE damage, you could do this as well. I just always get this additional resistance, and then I come down to something like that. And that is Jarek. Who else do we use? Oh, Vrask. Man, I'm so glad I was able to gear my Vrask out in this fashion, because before I didn't have him like this on the test server. So now we've got just a mixed match for him. HP, Speed Boots. There we go with the crit. We've got HP, and we're going to have more HP there because that's all Vrask needs. And we're at 231, 215, which really, that's not really helping us out that much. Maybe we'll resist every once in a while from those guards because they're at 230 accuracy. We've got a lot of HP, and we've got the speed and crit rate. So on his A1, though, whenever he gets a turn meter increase of 20% if this is a critical hit. Of course it's going to be a critical hit. We got to heal based off of critical hits in his max HP. So we're going to get a 20% turn meter increase so he can keep up. Plus, he was counterattacking quite a bit whenever he loses 25% of his max HP, which was happening to all of them quite often. He would counterattack. And then when he counterattacks, we all get life back. So it works out really well for him. Here are the masteries I've got on him so far. Resistance. We went down here for crit and critical damage. This isn't bad as well. We could get a little bit of life back, not much. Then, of course, if we're critical hit, we take less damage, which is always handy. Now, Apothecary. We just used him with speed. If I put him in Stalwart, maybe the runs would be safer. I think it would be safer, actually, if we kept that decreased attack up even further, but I don't know how we're going to do that. But we've got him at HP, Speed Boots, the same as the rest. HP here. We've got a couple bizarre accessories. and then resistance, because I was trying to get his resistance. Remember, this is the one that I don't want the skills on cooldown. So the accuracy was 350 or something that we had on the Eternal Dragon. So he's at 414. And as you noticed, we kept doing this, right? We kept doing his abilities. We kept healing and we kept helping out with the speed buff and the turn meter increase, which really helps us on this dragon to keep up with that speed, make sure we don't fall behind, and to make sure that we keep that decrease attack up. But that's it, everybody. If you have any questions, please let me know. I hope I explained it well enough and you're able to get through it and get those amazing rewards. Thanks so much for your time. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you all in a video soon.